The provincial government of Cebu will be setting aside its own protocols for returning Filipinos pending a meeting with the national government next week. However, Governor Gwen Garcia says that returnees will still be swabbed upon arrival. The OCTA Research Group says the average single-day cases of COVID-19 in Metro Manila have gone down to 700. The government's COVID-19 vaccination drive gets another boost, as millions of doses of jabs are expected to be delivered this month. Groups lashed out at President Duterte for once again thumbing down the proposal to resume face-to-face classes. And in lighter news, we take a closer look at the restored Metropolitan Theater in Manila. Focused and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. The province of Cebu will now follow the 10-day hotel quarantine rule imposed by the IATF, pending next week's meeting with officials from the national government. However, the swab-upon-arrival policy of Cebu remains in place. Marian Enriquez with the full report.
The local government of Cebu has spoken. The IATF's testing and quarantine protocols will be followed, at least for now. In a video broadcast live by the Freeman, Governor Gwen Garcia said she will set aside her executive order pending a meeting with the national government.
That the executive order that I issued, EO 23, yesterday, reminding all heads of government agencies that the provincial ordinance was in effect, and reminding all of the possible criminal and administrative charges that may be filed upon violation of such ordinance. This executive order I am now setting aside in deference to the President, even as we look forward to.
This means that returning overseas Filipinos and OFWs will stay in hotels for 10 days. Prior to this, they are just being released after just 2 to 3 days when results come back negative. But Garcia noted that returnees will still be swabbed upon their arrival and again on the 7th day.
We have found that doing this gives us better control at those that arrive already testing positive. This shall continue at no cost to the arriving OFWs and ROFs.
She also continued her appeal to give consideration to those who come home mostly for family emergencies. Her remarks came after President Duterte on Monday insisted once again that Cebu should follow national protocols.
An ordinance of a local government unit cannot be higher than a national policy, which is the policies that we are dishing out are not mere policies. They are guided by the proclamation.
Duterte also stressed that he would disobey any court order to suspend the IATF's protocols. This after Cebu-based lawyers filed a petition seeking for an injunction on the implementation of IATF's protocols in Cebu.
I'm sorry, but hindi lahat na bagay that the courts will interfere. It is not a question of justice and equity. This is a question of survival of the nation.
Garcia is set to meet with Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and other officials from the national government on June 28 to come up with win-win solutions on the matter. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
And the average daily new cases of COVID-19 in Metro Manila have gone down to just 700 over the past week. That is a 15% decrease from the previous week's average, according to the OCTA Research Group. Hospital and ICU bed occupancy in the NCR is also within safe levels. Outside the region, Davao City still has the most number of new COVID-19 infections per day at around 246. OCTA says Davao City is still considered as an area of concern, along with the cities of Bacolod, Iloilo, Cagayan de Oro, and Tacloban. We're pausing for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. Still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Philippines is expecting the arrival of more than 3.9 million COVID-19 vaccine doses this month. 1.5 million doses of Sinovac's jab will be delivered on Thursday. This shipment includes the 500,000 doses procured by the private sector. Meanwhile, 250,000 COVID-19 shots from Moderna will be shipped on Friday. The country is also expecting some 2 million doses of AstraZeneca's vaccine through the COVAX facility and another 150,000 Sputnik V vaccines by late June. And here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara says there's no law that compels mandatory vaccination or criminalizes refusal to get inoculated. This comes after the president threatened to put behind jail those who refuse to get vaccinated against COVID-19. The Alliance of Concerned Teachers lashed out at President Duterte for supposedly hostage the country's education system. ACT says face-to-face classes could have been piloted in some areas if surges were prevented through ample medical response. The chief executive once again thumbed down the proposal of the Education Department to resume in-person learning, citing the threat of the Delta COVID variant. And Vice President Leni Robredo says they are planning to launch more Vaccine Express sites for other sectors, such as market vendors. The OVP opened a vaccination drive-through for tricycle drivers and delivery riders today in coordination with the city government of Manila. And the Manila Metropolitan Theater is back to its former glory and will once again be open to the public after 2 decades. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
years, the Manila Metropolitan Theater has been a site of decay. But after going through a so-called metamorphosis for 6 years, the national cultural treasure will soon relive its glory days in the modern era.
The Metropolitan Theater was used before theater shows, orchestral music, ballet, and even films. But it was stopped being used in the 1990s because it was neglected and was not fit for use. But the restoration began in 2015 when the NCCA bought the theater from the GSIS. And after 6 years, it is now ready for a soft opening to be used tomorrow by the Manila LGU.
It was made by architect Juan Arellano in 1931 with his brother Arcadio and designer Isabelo Tampico to incorporate native iconography. In its heydays, it was home to the most prestigious Filipino plays and orchestra, but its downfall began in 1945 during World War II. It was last used in the 1980s and was formally closed in 1996. More than 270 million pesos were spent in the restoration of the Met. The lush banana and mango designs were restored in the main theater. Walls and floors were refurbished. It used to have a sitting capacity of 1,670, but after the bleachers were replaced with proper chairs, it can only accommodate 900 people. For the soft opening of the Met tomorrow, the Manila LGU will celebrate the 450th anniversary of the City of Manila, a historical event in a historical location.
So yung historical value nito ay ating kinikilala sa sa gawa ng seremonya na ito sa pagkilala ng outstanding Manilan sa ating Metropolitan Theaters.
The Met is located in the Padre Burgos Avenue in Manila, which makes it easy to access. Although the parking lot is still under construction, commuting to the Met is easy. Just take any public vehicle going through Quiapo or the Manila City Hall. The actual opening of the Met was supposed to be last April, starting with a stage play of Lapu-Lapu ang Dato na Mactan. But because of the surge, it was moved to December this year. The Met administration plans to target the general public to show the artistic pride of Filipinos through music, films, plays, and even clothes. Once the pandemic eases down, the Met administration says they can open their doors to the public and enjoy their lineup of shows. I'm Jacob Lazaro and we are One News.
For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.